Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 17th of August and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in the today's video, we are going to discuss the entire analysis of Hindu newspaper, all the articles along with the background and way forward we are going to take. And I would also like to tell you that you can download the explainer notes of this particular session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram channel is given in description box in YouTube. And a very good morning to all of you, Balakrishna, BK Panda, Sadhna, Vipin, Gaurav, Suraj, Niranjan and everyone else. A very good morning. Now, first of all, let's see overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually important for our examination in the today's paper. So here, first article is cabinet nod for electric buses. So here we will talk about the PM e-bus Seva scheme that government has launched and we'll understand the relevance of this article also. Then here we have article Supreme Court unveils handbook for eliminating gender stereotypes from law. We'll take this article for GS paper 4 ethics as well as society social issues. Then further we have these advertisements and all such kind of things not important for the examination. So the regional section is filled with the advertisements and then there are the political issues etc that have been given. So directly guys we will be reaching to editorial page because till that nothing much important has been given. An act to cement digital authoritarianism. We'll take this particular act guys, this particular article sorry for the exam and we'll see what important substance has been given in this particular article. But just to give you some impression, basic impression is that the editorial today is largely they are the criticism of the government where they say that the government is trying to subvert the law, government is doing this, that kind of an undertone is there. Here we see this particular thing that here guys recently we have seen that there again has been the record rainfall in the regions of Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand, and because of that particularly in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand there have been the landslides, floodings that have happened. And it is being said that though this particular year it was being speculated that it will be an El Nino year where the rainfall will be low, but so much amount of rainfall has led to all these havocs. Okay, then further moving on, new bill and a principal course of criminal law reforms. We'll take this particular article for the examination. Then guys here, housing for all. So this article is talking about the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. Now guys, one thing is that yesterday I have taken this entire dimension in much detail where the government has now announced that they will also provide the support to poor people in urban areas so that they can avail loan for construction of their houses. So the same thing has been repeated. Entirely this article we have taken also yesterday in the yesterday's newspaper. Then the future will not forgive the government. So guys again the same thing, fine. So recently we have seen also this particular thing that the Forest Conservation Act was renamed and where there was provided that only the protected notified forest will now be protected. Deemed forest they can be diverted, permission is not to be taken. So the author is saying that basically the government is destroying environment in the name of ease of doing business, future will not forgive the government. Such kind of things have just been given here. Then moving on guys, text and the context, understanding the MOEFCC's U-turn, we'll see this article. Then after that, why is Bihar caste-based survey facing legal challenges, we'll see this article also. Then in text and context, how the richest country have allowed the poorest to remain poor. So basically this is a bibliography article where they give the premise of certain books. So here the let us now praise famous men, poverty by America, the other America, it has been provided. So guys the article is largely talking about that how the rich countries such as the US, America, they have not given concern on the poor people and their concerns. Okay. Then moving on, after that 53 member CBI team to probe Manipur cases, fine. Then we have these political statements etc that are there. Moving on, here we have important article, Vishwakarma scheme will aid 30 lakh artisan families. We'll take this particular article. Okay. And then expansion of Digital India program gets 14,000 around 15,000 crore rupees outlay. So basically guys understand this thing that we see that the Digital India technologies, their application have increased in governance, in economy, everywhere. Even CERT, Computer Emergency Response Team India, which prepares in case of the cyber attacks and all such kind of things. We need to expand these organizations and we need to expand digital service. So outlay has been given. Again, moving on, guys, it is not required that you go and you track every scheme's outlay, every scheme's how much money is being pulled by union, how much is being pulled by the state. You are not required to go and track that too much of that minor details. After that, further moving on, guys, in this particular direction, two killed in Joshimath due to heavy rain. Here we have an article. Center and WHO to launch global initiative on digital health. We'll take this particular article. Continue COVID-19 testing to check emergence of new virus variants, WHO chief. So the WHO chief says that an attitude of complacency should not develop. We should be careful with respect to the COVID-19 and should continue the testing. We should not think that the COVID is over. Then moving on, world page, mob attacks, Pakistan church, Ukrainian grain deposit hit by Russian drone again. So basically, guys, Russia-Ukraine war, and under that development has been given. After that, basically in the world page, largely we have the law and order issues and Russia-Ukraine war development that is going on. Much important substance has not been given in this particular direction. And then, guys, coming on to the business page, textile exports continue to decline, Hyundai, and then there are the corporate trends, etc., that have been given. And then we have the sports page. Okay, so this is, guys, the overview of newspaper, and this overview we intend to give you a skill that how to skim through the newspaper so that you are not perpetually dependent on our video. I want to ensure that after few days you should also be able to read newspaper on your own without watching our video or any such kind of a thing. So you need to have this art of decoding which articles are to be read, which articles are not to be read. So this is an intention behind this overview. Now, moving on, guys, let's take these important and relevant articles one by one in detail. And this was the synoptic notes that I was telling you, which you can download from our Telegram channel. Now, every class we start with the GS quotation, and the idea of this quotation is to give you some views, some opinions, some ideas for our essay paper as well as for GS paper number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So today we'll take the quotation from Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita says, detachment is not that you own nothing. Detachment is that nothing owns you. Detachment is not that you own nothing. It is that nothing owns you, nothing controls you, nothing guides you, nothing determines your response to the different situation. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. Sometimes people under the notion, sometimes people just because of the greed, they do corruption. So why this corruption is happening? Corruption is happening because they are being controlled by their desires. They are being controlled by their impulses. And here the true detachment comes. So detachment is that nothing owns you. What is right has to be done. Fine? Nothing controls. Basically nothing comes in between that. What is right, it is right. And you will do that particular thing without any fear, without any favor, without any inclination. So we can use this particular idea vis-a-vis GS paper number 4 ethics. GS paper number 4 ethics will use this particular idea. Now, moving on, guys, in this particular direction, and I just would like to tell you our YouTube viewers that we are coming out with Ethos, what is right thing to be done, which is an ethics foundation course. This particular course we are tentatively launching on 23rd of August. There will be around 30 classes in this particular course and will be covering entire from basic to advanced. If you wish to enroll in this course, please fill a Google form. The link is given in description, or directly you can reach to our Telegram channel. There the detailed prospectus has also been shared, and I will also be making a video on this particular course, that what will be the key features, key deliverables, all such kind of things. We have priced it very marginally. You can check that information on Telegram. Now, taking up the first article for today, Supreme Court unveils handbook to eliminate gender stereotypes from law. Now, before going on in this particular article, first of all, let's take some basic background information. And before that, this article will be important for GS paper number 1 and GS paper number 2. issues related to women, social issues, social justice, as well as for GS paper number 4, ethics will also take this particular article. GS paper number 4, ethics. Now, let's take some of the basic background information. Now, guys, when we talk about the language of law, language of judiciary, and even in many of the statutes, we find that women have been, there are a lot of stereotypes that prevail. There are a lot of stereotypes that are prevailed. Women are often labeled. Women's sexuality are often labeled. Now, just one concept I want to discuss here, and then we'll move in this particular article. You need to understand that there is a concept of gender and there is a concept of sex. So basically, what is sex? Sex is the biological difference between the male and female. Okay, this is the physical, biological, physiological difference, that is sex. But what is gender? Gender is a sociological concept. It is a sociological construct. When we see people as men and women, we are referring to gender. And when the word men and women comes, a particular type of personality is attached on men and a particular personality is attached on women. For example, when we use the word man, we attach with the man personality of masculinity. We attach the personality of masculinity. But when we use the word women, with the women we attach the personality of femininity. We attach the personality of femininity. Because men are masculine, women are feminine, there are different expectations from them. Often men, they are believed that they are the superior one. Men will control the women. Women are seen to be guarded. Women are often seen that they are vulnerable, they are sexually vulnerable. Often their character is seen that their character is very fragile. They will compromise on their character. Women are seen that they have to be guarded. They are seen as emotionally vulnerable. All these stereotypes and prejudices have been imposed on the women because of a particular personality of femininity that has been attached to them. One thing, guys, just I want to explain you again, that as far as possible, as far as sex is concerned, biological difference, not at all problem. On biological front also, there are anomalies in men and women. For example, men cannot conceive a child, women can conceive a child. It is an inequality, but it is a natural inequality. We are not bothered about that. But when we see people in terms of their gender, men and women, when we see people in terms of the gender with their particular personality, masculinity and femininity, gender stereotypes develop, social inequalities develop, and that social inequalities become the reason for exploitation of women. That social inequality becomes the reason for women, they are always seen that they need to be guarded. Okay, and this is reflected in law as well. Now, basically, guys, when we talk about the judicial proceedings, often in the courts, there are particular type of words that are used to refer to women. For example, career women. The working women are called as career women. Do we ever use the word career men? Fine. We expect if a person is a man, he has to work. We don't use that a man and a career man. But for women, the women who are staying at homes, they are called as housewives. The women who are working, they are called as career women. Why such a dichotomy when in men it is not there? Then fallen women, okay, faithful women, obedient women, non-obedient women, disobedient women, such kind of terminologies are used for women. Eve teasing, hermaphrodite. Now, what is hermaphrodite? Hermaphrodite is a person who has both the male and female genitals or underdeveloped genitals. That person is called as the hermaphrodite. Now, these particular terms are derogatory. These terms are unjust. These terms are socially derogatory. So, Supreme Court has identified that these words are often used in the Indian courts. Now, these words should not be used. And for that particular thing, Supreme Court has come out with a new handbook. It has come out with a new handbook which defines the terms that now will not be used in the courts, and these terms will be replaced by what new terms. That particular thing has been provided. So Supreme Court has provided that the word career women will not be used. Rather than it that the word women will be used. Fallen women will not be used. The word women will be used. Faithful or obedient wife, fine. Why you are calling few women as faithful, obedient, disobedient? Simply, a wife is a wife. Wife Then Eve teasing, okay, so you might be knowing Adam and Eve, okay, Adam, Eve refers to women. Eve teasing, not Eve teasing, street sexual harassment word will be used, and in place of hermaphrodite, the word intersex will be used. So more dignity, the words which have more dignity, they will be used in the place of these derogatory terms that are used. Now understand this particular thing, you are not required to remember which word is replaced by which word. Why? Because such kind of a thing is not important, but this expression, but this particular symbolism is important. You can mention it as a case study when you are writing answer on women, that women often faces social exclusion, social discrimination. In this capacity, Supreme Court has recently taken this particular step. Okay, now moving on, Supreme Court has very clearly provided this particular thing, that we need to combat gender stereotypes which are used, gender wordings that are used into the court, in order to free the judiciary as well as legal community from the mechanical application of gender stereotypical language. Now, it has been provided this particular thing that, see, often we use some predetermined word with the women, that is women of compromised character, fallen women, fine, disloyal women. We use these words. The moment you are using these particular words, you have created, already by default, you have created a negative perception of that women, and the judges might also be carried away with that particular negative perception. So Chief Justice of India has provided this particular thing, that these predetermined stereotypes in judicial decision contravenes the duty of judges to decide on each case on the merits. Okay, when you have by default said a compromised woman, you are calling one woman as obedient wife, you are calling one woman as a disobedient wife, you have already created a particular kind of a negative perception. How judges will decide in a fair manner? So it impedes the judiciary. Moreover, guys, here there is one particular, here this particular paragraph, I want that you please note it down in your notes and please use it. So Supreme Court says this particular thing, that language is very critical to the life of the law. Words are very powerful. Why words are very powerful? Because words are the vehicles through which the value of law are communicated. Words actually tell the intention of a person. Now see this particular thing, the type of words, the type of language that I'm using will tell my intention. So they say words transmit the ultimate intention of the lawmaker or the judge of the nation. The language of a judge reflects not only the interpretation of law, but the perception of society as well. See, if a common man is saying something and a particular type of words is being used by a common man, it might be called as a view of that person, individualistic view. But if judge is saying something, if a lawmaker is saying something, that is the view of entire society, that is the view of the entire country. So the terminology, the words that are being used by the judges, they are needed to be carefully be chosen, and no social derogatory words, no prejudices, no stereotypes should be there in the language of the judges. So this is something that has been provided here in this particular article. Okay, a very good article, can be referred as a case study. So guys, please do use it. Okay, so that is all about it. And now moving to the next article. Cabinet nod for 10,000 electric buses in 169 cities. Okay, now what this particular article is all about? Basically this particular article, guys, is talking about the PM e-bus Seva scheme. It is talking about the PM, Prime Minister e-bus Seva scheme. We'll take this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3 infrastructure, GS paper number 3 infrastructure, in GS paper number 2 urban development, urban mobility. We'll take this particular article. Now, first of all, let me tell you some of the basic background information, and after understanding this background information, we'll go in the details of this particular article. Now, few things I want to tell you guys. First of all, let's focus on that. Number one, ease of living in urban cities. Now, according to Niti Aayog, 41% of Indian population will be living in cities by the year 2030. But according to Niti Aayog, urban cities lack on ease of living. Urban cities lack on ease of living. Ease of living means that the people have to struggle for basic things in their day-to-day life. If I tell you some basic things which impact the ease of living is, there are cramped spaces are there, there is a pollution, proper sanitation is not there, community spaces are not there, traffic jam are there. All these things impact ease of living. And within ease of living, one very important component is there, that is the ease of transportation. Ease of transportation. Often it is now, we see this particular thing, that in the urban cities, millions and millions of man hours, they are wasted every year just in commute. If you are living in Delhi and if you have to commute from your place to your workplace, and let's say the distance is 10 kilometer, it might take 1 hour, 1.5 hour one way. So every day 3 hours are just being wasted in commute. These are the productive man hours which are being wasted. So ease of transportation is not good. Why? Number one, we see this particular thing. That a last mile connectivity is not there. Last mile connectivity is not there. Because last mile connectivity is not there, people have to use their own vehicles, they have to use their own car, their own scooter, motorbike, which often becomes very much problematic. Okay, now in this particular capacity, public transportation can help. In this particular capacity, the public transportation can help. If any country has a good public transportation, people don't have to use their cars, people don't have to use their motorbikes, and even the women who often don't own these vehicles in large numbers, they also can go and participate in work if public transport is there. And Europe largely has increased their female labor force participation rate by the public transportation. It is a case study from the Western European countries. But in India, many of the cities, if you leave the metropolitan cities, other cities, they don't have properly developed bus networks. So we need to improve the ease of transportation through public transportation, and by that ease of living in urban cities will be improved. Secondly, guys, as we talk about the public transportation, nowadays, now one more concept comes here. Let's take that particular thing also. Okay, see this particular thing, guys. Yes, public transportation is important, but at the same time, when we talk about the carbon emissions, vehicular emissions, vehicular emissions are a very big category which leads to a lot of carbon emissions. And 2070, India has taken a pledge that India will become a carbon neutral nation by 2070. So for that particular thing, we also need to ensure that the public transportation is not there, but it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be environmentally sensitive. So therefore, e-public transportation, electric public transportation, or the word green mobility becomes important. The word green mobility becomes important. So basically, government is solving the two problems. Number one, government is bringing green mobility through this particular scheme, as well as government is also trying to improve the ease of transportation by this particular scheme. So this basic background, first of all, needs to be there in your mind. And now let's approach this particular scheme that government has come out with. So basically, Union Cabinet has approved that they will be adding 10,000 electric buses to the city bus service scheme across the country. As of now, only the metropolitan cities or few capital cities in country have bus transportation service. But now government has provided that all the cities which have a population of 3 lakh and above, they will be covered under this PM e-bus Seva scheme. So this PM Prime Minister e-bus Seva scheme. So all the cities having population above the 3 lakh and above, they will be covered. All capital cities will be covered. All the capital cities, union territories, northern and northeastern hill states, all the capital cities there, and every city above 3 lakh population will be covered. Now, just first of all, let me give you some idea, guys, here. This particular scheme, around 57,000 crore rupees will be invested. Now this number is not that much important. 57,000 crore rupees will be invested, out of which 20,000 crore rupees will be given by the union government, and the rest of the money, that is 37,000 crore rupees, it will be mobilized by the state government. So it is a scheme which will be funded by both center as well as state, and all these cities public transportation, bus transportation will be developed. Now let's see some of the other some of the other aspects of this particular scheme. So basically guys, this PM e-bus seva, it will be implemented in two segments. It will be implemented in two segments. In total, 350 cities will be covered. 350 cities will be covered. In 169 cities, 10,000 e-buses will be deployed. And here, public-private partnership model will also be used. Public-private partnership model will also be used. And in other 181 cities, infrastructure will be upgraded. Okay, you need to have the separate corridors for the buses, you need to have bus depots and all such kind of a things. So both things will be provided, buses will be provided and the infrastructure will be upgraded. Now when we talk about the first, for the cities in the first segment, that is these cities where 10,000 e-buses will be deployed, there also depot infrastructure will be developed so that it can house the new e-buses. Charging infrastructure will also be developed. Okay. Moreover, also government will be developing the infrastructure, multimodal interchange facilities. What is multimodal interchange facility? Suppose I want to go to a Y place. This Y place is, let's say, 20 kilometers away. 5 kilometers I will go at bus and then I will sit in a metro. So basically there needs to be a facility where I can just hop out of my bus and can enter the metro. So multimodal facilities. All these infrastructure will be developed under this particular scheme. Now, one particular thing guys, you are not required to remember that, okay, first segment, second segment, first segment, this, second segment, this. Just remember the overview of this particular PM e-bus seva scheme, because that such minor details, technical details are not asked in our examination. So spirit of this particular scheme is something that you need to understand. Okay. Moreover, government also provides that by this particular scheme, they will be generating around 45,000 to 55,000 of direct jobs also by this particular scheme, and it will solve the other problems already we have discussed. So that is all about this particular article. And now moving to next article. Vishwakarma scheme will aid 30 lakh artisan families. Vishwakarma scheme will aid 30 lakh artisan families. Now, we'll take this particular article guys with respect to GS paper number 2 social justice as well as GS paper number 3 economy. Within social justice and economy, under the topic of skill development, we'll take this particular article. Now, first of all, let me give you some background information. Now guys, on the Independence Day speech, in the Independence Day speech, Prime Minister announced a dedicated scheme to hone, to upgrade, to improve the skill of the artist, traditional artisans. Okay. In total, there are the 18 category of people whose skills will be improved. First of all, let me tell you these 18 category of people. Okay. So basically guys, what are these 18 categories? Let me tell you. So basically, 18 traditional trades such as carpenters, boat makers, armorers, okay, blacksmiths. Armorers are something who make armor, which is basically you might be knowing that the armors that were used in the wars and all such things. Fine. Blacksmiths, hammer and tool kit maker, people making hammer, locksmiths, people making locks, goldsmiths, potter, sculptor, stone breaker, cobbler, mason, basket, mat, broom maker, coir weavers, traditional doll and toy makers, barber, garland maker, washerman, tailor, fishing net maker. All these people will be covered. Now guys, obviously you don't need to remember all these 18 trades or the 18 categories. Just I hope you're getting the idea that these are the traditional traders. These are the traditional artisans or the people doing in all these particular works. Their skills are to be upgraded. They are to be provided support. They are to be provided financial assistance so that they can make a better livelihood. Now, to improve the skills of these people, as well as to give the financial incentives to all these people, what has happened? The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, it has approved the PM Vishwakarma scheme. It has approved this PM Vishwakarma scheme. Okay, and this PM Vishwakarma scheme will be available for the traditional crafts people, okay, and artisans, and the scheme will operate 23-24 to 27-28. Guys, one concept, sunset clause. So some of the schemes are there which have a sunset clause, means, see, for example, MG Narega scheme, we don't have any end line of that particular scheme. That scheme will continue only when government will desire, government will scrap that scheme. Some schemes from the starting they have a sunset clause, means it will be operative for 3 year, 4 year, and then that particular scheme would be over. So it has a sunset clause 27-28. Now this particular scheme aims to strengthen the nurture of Guru Shishya Parampara, teacher student tradition, or the family based practice of traditional skills. Okay, what happens in the family? A father teaches the skill to the son, then the son, when he will become the father, he will teach the skill to their. So through this particular heritage, through this particular traditional continuity, these schemes, these particular skills have been transferred. Now government will not tamper with that basic design, but at the same time some technical skills, some technical upgradations will be provided by government to these people by through this PM Vishwakarma scheme. Now by this particular scheme, what government will do? Government will try to improve the quality. Government will try to improve the quality of the products of these people. It will also try to improve the reach of their products. For example, there is a person making a doll, let's say in Uttar Pradesh. He is selling that particular doll in that region only. If we give the market access to this particular person, he is making doll in Uttar Pradesh, but he will be able to sell his doll in Tamil Nadu, will be able to export those dolls in Europe. So we want to give them better skills. We want to improve the quality of their products by this PM Vishwakarma scheme. Reach of their products will be improved. Fine. As well as they will also be integrated with the domestic and global value chains. Fine. Now, as a part of this particular scheme, all these particular artisans and traditional workers, they will be given the PM Vishwakarma certificate, which will certify that yes, they have these particular skills. There will be an ID card that will be given to them. A credit support will be given up to 1 lakh rupees in first go, and then 2 lakh rupees other financial assistance can be given to them. And this 1 lakh rupees and 2 lakh rupees financial assistance will be given at a subsidized interest rate of just 5%. Moreover, as I told you that they will also be focusing on the skilling program. So while they are going through the skill development under the PM Vishwakarma scheme, they will also be given a stipend of rupees 500 per day, which will ensure the economic viability of these people while they are undergoing the skilling. So basically, by this particular thing, upskilling with economic viability, is being ensured. Okay, so you can use these particular references in your exam, in mains answer when you are writing them. However, in the prelims also, often the questions on the basis of scheme are asked. So if such kind of a question comes in this particular direction, please use these particular information. So that is all about it. And now let's move to the next article. Why is Bihar's caste based survey facing legal challenges? Okay, now this particular article will see with respect to GS paper number 2, governance and polity, as well as also we'll see this particular article with respect to the affirmative policies and issues related to affirmative action and affirmative policies. What is affirmative action? So basically, guys, sometimes what happens is sometimes we need to provide level playing field to people who have been downtrodden, and act of providing them level playing field, act of providing them some incentives, it is called as affirmative action. For example, reservation comes under affirmative action. Often people just use the word reservation. I will insist that please don't use this word reservation, use the word affirmative action. Affirmative action is an umbrella term under which the reservation, giving scholarships, all such kind of things will come. Now, let's understand some basic background information and then we'll go in this particular article, because that information is first of all very much essential. Now, let's take some background information. So basically guys, as we talk about census, so India is conducting census. Now, see, we started conducting census in 1861, but these are the non-synchronous census. But when we talk about the synchronous census, we are conducting regular synchronous census since 1881. Okay, every 10 years, since 1881, synchronous census for India are being conducted. Now, as we talk about the census present, they collect the information for scheduled caste, they collect the information for scheduled tribe, but they don't collect information on the OBC status, OBC people. They don't collect information about every caste, every dedicated caste, their people, the number of people in a particular caste. For example, Yadav caste. How many people are there in Yadav caste? What is their educational status? What is literacy state in them? What is the status of anemia in them? So, caste specific data is not collected in census as of now. Okay, understand this particular thing. Till 1931, caste census dedicatedly was carried by the Britishers. After 1931, caste census got discontinued. One thing I want to tell you, even in 1941, the information about the caste was collected, but the information was not released. So the last caste census that happened in India was 1931, and post 1931 caste census is not being conducted. The last census that got conducted in India was in 2011, and in this 2011 we have the statistical information, demographic information of general population, and we had information about SC/ST, but OBCs we don't have information. Every caste we were not given any information. Now, many of the governments, particularly the governments such as the Bihar, they say this particular thing, that we need to collect the information about different caste, number of people in these caste, their demographic profile, their social condition, because if we don't have the information, how to plan for the welfare schemes, how to plan for the welfare programs. There are many schemes that are specifically designed for the backward people, but how you will deliver these particular schemes if you don't have the information about these particular people? So we need to have dedicated information about the different caste groups. So therefore the caste based survey has been proposed by many government, and Bihar government last year even started the caste based survey. This caste based survey that was taken by the Bihar government, it was challenged into the Patna High Court. Patna High Court took that particular petition, but Patna High Court said that Bihar government is competent to carry forward that particular survey. They resumed that particular survey. Now petition is filed in Supreme Court, that whether the Bihar government is competent to carry this survey, yes or no. So Supreme Court is now about to hear the petitions. Supreme Court is about to hear the petition which is challenging the Patna High Court verdict which upheld Bihar government's ongoing caste survey. Now, one thing guys I want to tell you here is that basically union government very categorically have refused to conduct the caste survey at the level of union, and even the union government is critical of the Bihar government also, which is carrying this caste survey. Why? Let's discuss that particular thing also in just a minute. Now, as the Bihar government's caste survey is concerned, they have launched this particular survey in 2 phases. Fine, in this they will be collecting the detailed information about the socio-economic conditions of the people, and they say that by that they will be better able to orient, their welfare schemes. Now, the final report of this particular survey is expected to be released in September, before the 2024 elections. Okay, this year September, this year September, the report will be released. Now, why they are coming out with this caste census? What is the master strategy of the Bihar government? See this particular thing. Right now, guys, we know that at the center, BJP government is all powerful. BJP government is the one, and it has been said that the BJP government got such big vote bank because of their Hindutva politics. Because of their Hindutva politics. Fine. Why BJP government became all powerful? It is because of their Hindutva politics. Okay. Just a minute. Yes. So, according to political analyst, the BJP's success, BJP's big vote bank comes because of their Hindutva politics. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. Post 1990, India has seen the mandalization of politics. What is this mandalization of politics? Let me explain you this word, mandalization of politics. So basically, guys, you might be knowing this particular thing, that the Mandal Commission provided that 52% people in India, they are backward, OBCs. And for these 52% people, 27% reservation was suggested by Mandal Commission. Post this Mandal Commission, what happened? Many political parties were formed, and many political parties, they carried their agenda just on the basis of the backwardness. They mobilized the OBC people, and these OBC people were their vote bank. They consolidated power on the basis of the politics of backwardness. But what has happened? Post 2014, as BJP has come, it has chosen the agenda of Hindutva. Now understand this thing. When you are using the religion becomes a bigger identity, because within, let's say, within a religion, there are the people who are unreserved category, SC, ST, OBC. Okay, now different political parties are divided their vote bank. Somebody is just mobilizing unreserved category. Some party is mobilizing just OBC. Some party is mobilizing just SC. Now, when the BJP came and when it came out with the Hindutva narrative, it mobilized all the caste people by the name, under the name of religion. So many of the regional parties which have specialized on the backwardness, these parties have suffered, and now these parties want to become again relevant. And how they will become relevant? They will become relevant by conducting the caste census. Now, how the caste census will help them? Guys, I told you this particular thing. Now, I told you two things, and now these two information will be important here. First information I told you that first information that I told you is that according to Mandal Commission, they said 52% people are backward. Mandal Commission said 52% people are backward. Now, Mandal Commission report actually came in 1979. Mandal Commission report actually came in 1979. Now, when we talk about the Mandal Commission report 1979, it said 52% people are backward. But how? How they came on this number? 52% people are backward. Because they relied on 1931 census at that point of a time. So, that time, this census was around 50-year-old. Today, this census is around 90-year plus old. So party says this particular thing, that actually population of the backward class people, OBC people, it is not 52%. According to them, their population is 80-85%. Their population is 80-85% according to these parties. So if their population is 80%, why they are being given just reservation of 27%? Increase the reservation for them. This is the agenda that they want to bring on the table. And once this agenda comes on the table, people will again might get mobilized on the basis of the caste line. So this is one way by which they can give competition to the Hindutva identity of BJP. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that if you want to mobilize people in democracy, you want to attract people on some particular common ground. People got mobilized on the name of religion in 2014. Today they want to mobilize people. So how they will mobilize people? They will go to the people and will say to people this particular thing, that OBC people are just getting 27% reservation. Their population today, after conducting the caste census, they will, and guys, actually this is a fact also. OBC population is actually far more than 52% today. It was 52% in 1931. Today, it is actually 70 to 80%. And once they prove this particular thing by data. Once they prove this particular thing by some survey, some data, they say that when population of the OBC people is 70-75%, why they are just being given 27% reservation? They should get 50-60% reservation. Reservation, they will say, is disproportionate. Now, on this particular basis, they will mobilize people. Now, guys, see this particular thing. It will, when it will be told to people that your children will get reservation, everybody might be supportive, most of the people might be supportive of these parties. So they are trying to gain the relevancy. Okay, and union government, BJP, they have never actually specialized in any particular caste group. So therefore, government at center, very clearly they have said this particular thing. Very clearly they have said this particular thing, that we are not going to conduct any caste survey. And even in this particular capacity, union government says this particular thing, that not conducting the caste survey, not conducting a caste survey is a conscious policy decision, and that has been adopted since 1951, because 1951 was the first census of independent India that happened. So this policy has been adopted because we want to discourage caste. We want to discourage caste. So therefore, we are not conducting this particular census. On limited scale, in 2011, there was the socio-economic caste census that was conducted. But guys, even this socio-economic caste census survey has not been released till now. So therefore, the parties, the regional parties and Bihar government is now conducting the caste survey so that they can counter the Hindutva politics through the revival of Mandal politics. Through the revival of the Mandal politics. What is Mandal politics? Mandal politics is the politics of backwardness. So this is something that is now going on. Few information, guys, that we'll see for the exam is that basically why the Bihar government census is being contested. Because if you know, we have the Census Act of 1948. According to the Census Act of 1948, it is said that only center government can conduct the census. So how the state government is doing this particular thing? So basically it says that the act of Bihar government carrying the census is unconstitutional, as only center is exclusive, is only entitled to conduct the census as per the Census Act of 1948. Okay. So now let's see what Supreme Court takes a decision on this. That is all, guys, about it. And now moving to the next article. Understanding the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change's U-turn. Now, frankly telling you guys, the article doesn't contain much of a substance. Just a small concept has been given in this article. Let's see this particular thing. And this particular article will take with respect to the GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, issues related to the conservation. Issues related to the conservation. Now, what happened? Few days back, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change issued a notification that they are walking back on their 2020 notification. Now, what is this 2020 notification that they came out? So basically, guys, in 2020, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they say that we want to merge certain bodies and we want to build the regional offices, one integrated regional office of all these particular bodies. Now, what bodies they wanted to merge? Let's see that. So they wanted to merge Forest Survey of India, National Tiger Conservation Authority, Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, Central Zoo Authority. All these bodies were to be merged and they were to be brought under the ministry, and regional integrated offices of all these particular organizations were to be created. Now, activists criticize this particular move. Why? Because, guys, see this particular thing, that nowadays government has become very much concerned about the ease of doing business. Suppose I want to start an industry in forested area, and if I want to start an industry into the forested area, I need to take approval from the Ministry of Forest. Okay, even let's say Ministry of Forest gives the approval, but suppose this particular industry is coming around the tiger reserve, then the National Tiger Conservation Authority will oppose this particular permission. It will say that no, land should not be given. So often sometimes National Tiger Conservation Authority, sometimes the Forest Survey of India, sometimes the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, they were opposing the clearances given by the Environment Ministry. So they found, therefore they want to merge them. They want to bring them under a single department under the Ministry of Environment, so that in very fast manner the approvals, the clearances can be given by the Ministry of Environment. And they said that by this they will be able to give the fast approvals, ease of doing business will be improved, ease of doing business will be improved. But many of the climate activists, they say this particular thing, that it will render the environmental organizations and many of these organizations toothless. Okay, and guys, now what has happened, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they had walked back on that. They will now not merge these institutions. Now they will not merge these institutions. They have said this particular thing. Moreover, government also has tried to merge many other, on other fronts also they have tried to merge the things. For example, now recently what happened, Indian government also announced that they are going to merge Project Tiger and Project Elephant. This is also, now this is a different news, not particularly related to this. So this also has been criticized by many activists. They say that how these two schemes can be merged. For example, Project Elephant does not have any legal backing, but there is that Project Tiger, which is recognized under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Fine. Tiger reserves are protected under the Wildlife Protection Act. Elephant reserves are not protected. How you are merging these two schemes, which have very much different legal designs, but that also has been proposed. What we need to see from this particular article, we need to see from this particular article that often governments, for the sake of simplicity, for the sake of ease of doing business, converges multiple schemes, multiple initiatives under single umbrella, but it is not always advisable, because every scheme, every organization, every program has its own nitty-gritties, and that need to be kept in mind. So that is all about it. Okay, let's take some questions. Okay, first of all, a very good morning to all of you. And Sudarshan sir also, a very good morning to you too, and thanks for commenting. Sir, how will send you the money for, okay, that particular information I will give, that how to actually enroll into the ethics course. But first, please fill the Google form that is given on our Telegram channel, because first you have to fill that form, and from that only we beginning the registration process. Okay, reservation was allowed because substantial representation can be done of downtrodden in the governance, but even after more than 60 years, don't you think it has failed to achieve its purpose? Anubhav, a very good question that you have raised, but understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the reservation affirmative action, actually there are two viewpoints. One say 60 years have happened, fine, it has not shown any result. Other people will say 60 years is actually not a very big time. You need to give more time, because these social disabilities, social backwardness cannot be removed in just a gap of 5 to 10 years. Clear? So that is something that has to be provided. Okay, so these are the differing viewpoints that have been there, though you can also have a viewpoint, okay, that the reservation system have failed to reach have failed to reach its objective, which is also true to a certain extent. But should we scrap the entire reservation? No, that will not be a very wise decision to make as of now, because social discriminations, they still exist and they take a long period of time to remove. Okay, so that is something. Now moving on, okay, to the next article. Classes timing for your ethics classes, dear, the ethics classes timing we will be keep around the late evening, so that it doesn't comes in clash with your other engagements. Okay, however, all that particular thing I will inform. Now moving on, an act to cement digital authoritarianism. Now guys, this particular article is actually talking about the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023, which got passed. However, to be very frank and to be very honest, the article doesn't contains much of that academic substance. It is just saying that how government has failed to capture a lot of loopholes that are there in this particular act. Okay, so that particular dimension we are going to discuss here. Now, first of all, recently Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023 got enacted. Now, this particular Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023, it came to preserve the right to privacy of people that was recognized by Supreme Court in the Puttaswamy case. Even government has constituted B. N. Shri Krishna Committee, and the B. N. Shri Krishna Committee recommended that we need to have a separate data protection law. And on that particular line, the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill was brought in Parliament and it got passed. And multiple number of times we have taken this particular article and these provisions also of this particular act we have discussed. I hope that you have followed all those particular things and you have taken down the notes. And one more thing, guys, that please let us know that should we make a separate video also on this particular thing. Okay, now moving on. So the article provides this particular thing, that what has happened, this particular Digital Personal Data Protection Act, rather than protecting the people's right to privacy, just a minute. Okay, so rather than protecting the people's right to privacy, this particular bill or this particular act facilitates the data collection. It facilitates the data processing by the government as well as the private entities. It says that the government at multiple times have shown disregard for the right to privacy by the people. According to the article, it has given many examples. For example, we have Arogya Setu app. Now, Arogya Setu app was mandated during the time of COVID. It was a contact tracing app, and this app was made mandatory. If you want to go to certain places, you have to have this particular app. And according to MIT Technology Review COVID tracing tracker, it was said that India was only democracy to make contact tracing app mandatory. Neither the privacy policy was made public, neither the terms of the service of this particular app were made public, nor they were accessible. So this is something that has been provided. Now, it is also being provided that government has come out with the Smart Cities mission. And under the Smart Cities mission, integrated command and control center is to be developed, which will gather the real-time data of the residents and a lot of database about the activities of the residents. Their information will be collected. Its deadline has been extended to 2024. But if you see, there have been so many CCTV cameras that have been installed virtually at every place. But by that particular thing, has the cities become more safe? We don't know, but so much of information is being collected. And by this particular Digital Personal Data Protection Act, now government gets even more information to collect the data. And in this particular act, it has been provided very clearly that nobody can suppress any material information. While you are providing any information, while you are providing any document and data to the government, you cannot suppress information. If you do that particular thing, there will be the fine of 10,000 rupees. So point is that government is actually forcing you to share the information. Rather than protecting the information, you are being forced to share the information. So it has been said that by this act, government will collect even more information, and it defeats the fundamental spirit of data privacy law. It fundamentally defeats the spirit of the Puttaswamy case, which gives the right to privacy as a fundamental right. Okay, that is about it. Then the next article, new bills and principled course of criminal law reforms. Okay, so guys, again a very generic kind of an article has come. We have discussed this particular issue also multiple number of times. We'll take this particular article with respect to the GS paper number 2, criminal justice system reforms. So I think at least 3-4 times we have discussed it, that government has now proposed the bills to replace IPC, Indian Penal Code, CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code, as well as the Indian Evidence Act. Now, government has introduced the bills. What are these bills? Let's understand that. So, government has introduced, number 1, Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita bill. Now, this Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita will replace the Indian Penal Code. Okay. Then the next is Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Samhita, and Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Samhita will replace the Code of Criminal Procedure. And then the third is Bharatiya Sakshya Bill. This Bharatiya Sakshya Bill will replace the Indian Evidence Act. Now, when we talk about the Indian Evidence Act, Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, these laws have been more than 150-year-old. They were brought during the time of the Britisher, the colonial government, and the objective of the colonial government was to subvert the people. Their objective was to suppress the national freedom struggles that were going on. And these laws are based on the suspicion, mistrust against the citizen. They wanted to suppress the citizen rather than empowering the citizen. Moreover, these laws, they also reflect the old mindset and doesn't reflects the liberal welfareist mindset which present government holds. So therefore, these bills are being replaced. These particular acts are being replaced. IPC is being replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. Okay. CRPC, Code of Criminal Procedure, is being replaced by the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Samhita, and the Bharatiya Sakshya Bill will replace the Indian Evidence Act. Now it has been provided that, see, these particular bills have come and they will cause large scale changes in the legal landscape, and the objective is to make our criminal justice system more sustainable, to make it more efficient, to adhere it with the rule of law. All these objectives will be fulfilled by that. But will it do this thing or not? Will it be a success or will it be a failure? It is too soon to tell that particular thing. And guys, actually, we also don't know that what actual changes will come, because now the bill have been proposed, bill have been referred to the select committee will give its suggestion, then the bill will be brought in parliament debates, discussion, amendment will be carried, and then final version will come. But there are some of the things that have come in this particular bill which are actually quite notable and good. Okay. For example, for example, for example, attempted suicide has been excluded. Earlier it was an offense, now it is not. Adultery has been excluded. Now all this particular thing goes in line with the Supreme Court of India's decision. Supreme Court of India has in the past provided that attempt to suicide should be decriminalized, adultery should be removed. Also, the offense of sedition has also been removed. Okay, and even new offenses have been created, such as terrorism, organized crime, mob lynching, and even the death penalties have also been proposed for such kind of a mob lynchings. Even a crime that if you carry a sexual intercourse with a woman on the pretext of marriage, that is also a crime. 10-year punishment have been given. So basically it is being said that these particular new laws that are being brought, they must strike a balance between state security and individual freedoms. Now these bills have been placed before the select committee for consideration, and now committee will discuss, engage with that, and then the final bill will be provided, which will then come in parliament. So as of now, I will not recommend you to go too much in detail in this particular bill, because a lot of changes will come over the next few months. Okay, so that is all guys about it. And now moving to the next articles. Next article, I can see there are some of the doubts. I will take it after the articles are completed. Center and WHO to launch global initiative on digital health. Okay, now, so basically this particular article, first of all, we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2. We'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to health. Issues related to health. So now we see this particular thing that India, in collaboration with the WHO, is now launching global initiative on digital health. Global initiative on digital health. Now, right now, India is chairing the G20 for 2023, and as India is chairing G20 for 2023, India have taken quite a few initiatives on all the themes. For example, on sustainability, on climate front, on green mobility, climate finance, we have taken multiple initiatives, and as we are doing newspaper analysis every day, we have taken it also. Now on health front, India along with WHO is coming out with global initiative on digital health. What is this global initiative on digital health? Understand this thing, that the health sector needs to be digitized. How health sector can be digitized? For example, now there is a need that teleconsultation teleconsultation, telemedicine needs to be adopted. See, people's health data is still collected and still compiled in the old school format. You took a blood test, you are given a copy of that blood test report, but you fail to maintain a kind of a repository of that particular data. Okay, now this particular thing makes often the health interventions ineffective. Now government wants to digitally collect the health data, government wants to provide health services through the digital format, and for that particular thing this global initiative on digital health is being adopted, and it will be adopted in the ongoing G20 summit that is there in the Gandhinagar. Okay, now government is trying to bring data convergence, interface of health platforms, investment in digital health spaces. So understand this thing, the mandate of this global initiative on digital health is big. Government will see that how digital health data can be collected, how citizen can be provided the health interface through digital means. Also, they will also include an investment tracker and an ask tracker. Investment tracker is that how from private sector and other places investment in health can be mobilized. Ask tracker, where they will try to learn from people, where they will try to learn from individuals that what kind of products and services, health products they need. Okay, so this is something that government is coming out with. However, detailed blueprint has not been released till now. This is only information that has been given. Over a period of time, we might get to know about a detailed blueprint of this particular thing also. So till then, this is that you need to see. And then moving on to mains practice question for today. So question reads, what is the rationale of caste census that is being proposed by various states? Why is the union government against a caste census? It will be GS paper number 2, 10 marker question. So that is all about it. And let's take questions if they are there. People actually making use of these reservation, because we saw the news that around 25,000 students from category have left the IITs, and this will take the opportunity of many people. Yes, many people, they have left IITs and many premier institutions from the reserved category, but there also you need to see that often it is said that at campus people are discriminated. Often at campus also there are the social exclusions that prevail. There was also this data that was also given. Okay, now understand this particular thing, that as you talk about the debate on reservation is of actually an emotional debate, and many people will have many different kind of a viewpoints. Understand this thing, it is a social problem, and in social problems we cannot have a concrete solution or a concrete viewpoint. In scientific problems, fine, you can have a very clear way forward or a very clear result, but in social problems we don't have it. On both of the sides there will be the viewpoints in favor as well as in opposition, and we need to know major of these particular debates and the viewpoints. Okay, that is all about it. Reservation. Yes, Anubhav, your question is right. Reservation is to be increased just because there is an increase in number of OBC in overall population, without making a survey about whether substantial representation is made. Yes, that survey is also to be carried. What we have seen in the article is that the political parties such as in Bihar, they want to use it as a particular agenda, that as numbers have, as their population have increased, more reservation is to be given. Obviously that has to be backed by data, empirical evidence. Only if it supports, then that thing needs to be thought, otherwise not. Okay, so right now nothing has happened in that particular capacity. It is a very preliminary stage. Okay, so that is all guys about today guys, and I hope that you have understood it. With this we come to an end. Now we'll meet tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourself.